Hey there, Camaro Nation. So I've been plugging away on this thing, trying to get done what I can get done, and I actually took it for its first very small road test around the parking lot where my shop is. It's got a long way to go. It runs okay. I mean, it's nice and quiet and smooth. A couple little tiny exhaust leaks, but nothing big. I hear them. A normal person probably wouldn't. So what have I done so far? I fixed the shifter. Didn't have reverse when I bought the car. I don't know if I chronicled that or not, but the rod was too short. I think I told you that. I cut the rod and I added like a 3/4 of an inch to it. So that's all fixed. This temperature gauge, because the factory gauge is missing, there's an open hole right there. I don't know if you can zoom in. Yeah, see it's missing, not surprised. My buddy had this gauge on the dash, which I can't find the convertible top switch. I think it's under that gauge, which is kind of testimony to the kind of quality I'm seeing in some of this stuff. So, but I just had to tell you, they had this gauge, and to his credit, he didn't want to drill holes in the firewall and stuff. So he ran the gauge through, the flashlight, he ran it through the fender well. There's a hole in there for the power window stuff. So he ran it over the kick panel, through the hole in the firewall, through the fender, and then back out under the hood. It's not the way I'd have done it. So there already was a small hole in the firewall. It's somewhere back there. Yeah, you can just see it right there. See it? Way back behind the brake booster. So I just made it bigger so that the temperature gauge sending unit would come through. The stock GM electric one goes in the head right there where he had that gauge. So I just stuck that one in the intake manifold. It's got 2 plugs. That's the Edelbrock intake. So I stuck it there. It was idling way too high, if you recall before. He had a rubber vacuum brake line going to the back of the intake. I guess stock on a big block Camaro was a metal line that screws into a fitting, and then it custom bends and stuff to go around everything. This thing has the throttle linkage rod to the cable. So the rubber hose rather, was under that rod and was holding it up. So it was holding the throttle up, which is stupid, a little bit on the dangerous side. So I just bent up a steel line to kind of mimic almost what's stock. And, it looks neat and out of the way. This is the stuff I'm good at, just little tiny detail crap to make things better. The radiator was leaking, so I pulled the radiator out, had it fixed. When I first looked at the car, it wasn't running, but the fan shroud was loose, and I stuck my hand in there to check it out, and the fan was hitting the shroud. I mean, you couldn't move it without it banging the shroud. I don't know how he drove it like that. And there was a piece broken off on this side. So while I had it all apart, I figured out how to fix that. I mean, it may sound hacky, but I just drilled new holes in the radiator mounting plate on the radiator to drop it down a 1/2 inch. I mean, what else are you gonna do with this thing? It's all fixed, you know what I mean? It bolts to the radiator wall, the radiator support wall. How are you gonna make it lower? I mean, I'm sure what's going on here is it has all new bushings everywhere, and they're probably higher than stock, and that probably picks everything up a teeny bit, and it all snowballs to a point where the fan is hitting the shroud, or the shroud is made wrong. It's a reproduction shroud. But whatever the case, I dropped the radiator a 1/2 inch. No one will see it but me. Clears by a mile now. Whee, look at that, hey? Isn't that nice? I fixed the broken piece on this side. Just dumb shit like that I'm good at. What else? Oh, he had an electric fuel pump under the battery tray. And when I asked him why, he said that this is a truck motor. Truck motors don't have the eccentric for the fuel pump, to drive the fuel pump. Okay. So why does it have the plate on the, the hole in the block? So I went online. There's a Facebook 427 tall deck page, believe it or not. There's a page for everything on Facebook. And I asked a question, and they're all like, no, if it has the hole in the side of the block, it had a fuel pump. Take the cover off, because he had a cover on it. See if there's a push rod in there. If there's a push rod in there, it probably has the eccentric in the cam. So I did that. It has a push rod in it. So what I did was I stuck a pocket magnet on the end of the push rod, and I rotated the motor over with a breaker bar, and I marked the magnet with a magic marker, so as it moved in and out, I could watch it, and it did. It moves about 3/8 of an inch. So with that affirmed, I bought a fuel pump for a 396 Camaro, and I bolted it on, and lo and behold, it has fuel now, all by itself, an electric fuel pump. So I got to get rid of that wire. He snaked the wire all the way in from the dashboard to put power to the fuel pump with the key on. I give him credit for that. I thought he wired to the battery at first. I was going to say, Jesus, guy, really? But no, he did that, semi-right. So that's all fixed. What else? Just general tidying up of stuff. You know, I had no battery. I had to buy a battery. My buddy Dave got me a deal on a battery. It was missing the hold down. I put a hold down on it. I ran these battery cables more in the proper way they're supposed to go. What else did I fix? The clutch was out of adjustment. I adjusted that. He had like 3 inches of play in it for some reason. I don't know why. You know, stuff like that. Just general cleaning in the areas I've been working in. So behind the battery is all clean now. Over here, I cleaned a little bit. The voltage regulator, I don't know why it was mounted. I don't know if you know what well nuts are, but well nuts, I think I have them over here. A well nut is a rubber grommet, basically, that has a threaded piece stuck in the bottom of it. So you drill a big hole, you stick the well nut in the hole, you put your bolt in, and when you draw the bolt up, it sucks this brass fitting up and balloons it out, so it can't go anywhere. So if you want something to have some kind of vibration, insulation, or like in the case of the Camaro, I don't know if you guys maybe know this, if you're Camaro guys or Firebird guys, I gotta get a flashlight, you can't see shit. The driver's side of the radiator in these things is mounted in well nuts. That's how they do it. I think you can see them from the back. So much I don't like well nuts. I ran a nut on this one because I don't like them. I don't trust them. And the bottom one, you can't see, it's behind that piece right there. But on this side, you see it's got little tiny 1/4-inch bolts. That's what goes on the in the well nut. That one, and they're buried in here. You can barely see them, but so he had well nuts holding the voltage regulator in. I don't know why. As far as I know, the voltage regulator should ground to the firewall, the radiator support rather. So I took them out and I had to clean up the holes and I put bolts and nuts on it to bolt it in. I don't know what the hell he was doing there. Maybe he knows something, I don't know. But anyway, I checked the tranny fluid, checked the rear end fluid. I got it running again. It was running hot before. I put a 160 thermostat in it too. I like that with big blocks. I don't like to run 180 or higher in anything, honestly. I always run a 160 because old cars run hot. I like them to run cold. I don't drive them in the winter, so who cares? So anyway, while I had it apart and the cooling system was down, I put a 160 stat in it and got it running again. And it hasn't gone over 190 now. Last time I had it running, it went to 210 within 10 minutes. I only run 10 minutes, and it was at 210. I mean, granted, the radiator was down a gallon of coolant. I didn't realize it was leaking out of the bottom. So that's all set. So mechanically, it's decent now. I don't want to say it's good. It's decent. I set the timing. He had an 8 initial. This is a truck motor. Truck motors have 8-to-1 compression. You can jack this thing up to the moon if you want to, but I believe in moderation. So I think 12 is a safe number to start at. So I took it around the parking lot. It was I mean, here's the good stuff. It wasn't too rattly, and the brakes stopped, and it didn't die on me, and it didn't hit anything. So that's good, right? I mean, you got to count your blessings sometimes. Something's wrong with the steering on this thing. It's I know this isn't the most technical term. The steering's fucked up in this thing. I don't know what's wrong with it. When I first got it at his house, his daughter's house, we were cutting the wheels to see if it had full piston caliper disc brakes, which it does. So I cut the wheel to the right, and it wouldn't come back to the left. It was stuck. So my friend had to get in there, and I don't want to break anything, so he grabbed it, he yanked it to the left. And when you drive it, you can feel it's got a mile of play in this thing. I don't know why. I mean, look at that. It's got probably, well, let's see. There's all the way one way. That's probably 5 inches of play, 4 or 5 inches of play. It's power steering. It should have like nothing, 2 inches maybe. And I don't know if you can see the wheels moving. Yeah, the wheels are barely moving, so it's got a lot of play in it. The rag joint seems okay. I've been working alone, so I can't have somebody move the wheel while I grab everything, but if I stretch my arms as far as they'll go, and I grab the wheel and I grab the rag joint, there's something going on in there. It's not the rag joint. I think the box is junk. Because just driving around the parking lot, sometimes on a turn, it's a circular parking lot, I can feel like a clunk when I'm turning the wheel. So I got a feeling the steering box is messed up. He said it was a rebuilt fast ratio steering box. Stock 68 fast ratio. I don't know if they had fast ratio at 68, so I don't know what it's out of, who did it, no clue. So that's on my list of shit I gotta fix. What else? I want to pull the interior out because it smells like mice and dirt and shit. Have a friend of mine who's a detailer shampoo the rugs, shampoo the seats, get that stench out of it. I figure that's the time to put the power window stuff in and the convertible top stuff, which my friend hasn't got me yet. He's still trying to find it. You better find it because I feel like paying for all that crap. I checked all the lights today. The headlights work. The four-way flashes blink in the dash. I think the right front blinks. The left rear light's solid on one of the lights. I think it's the inboard light. Yeah, this one. It's the only one that lights up. It lights up solid with the directionals on, forward flashes are on, we hit the brakes. Nothing else works back here. So God knows what's going on. So I gotta get on that. My spoiler is off, being fixed. That's actually done. I gotta pick it up Thursday. So I can put the spoiler back on. So there's tons to do. I mean, tons to do. But luckily it's all, as I keep calling it, clean work. It's not like, pull the motor out or rebuild the transmission stuff yet. Who knows what surprises are in store for me. But anyway, that's the story. That's where I am. It runs and drives and stops. It doesn't overheat. It's got its own fuel pump pumping. So these are all positives, right? We're getting there. We're getting there. I changed the hood springs too. The ones that are on it kept falling on my head. These don't. I don't like that when you open it up all the way, it settles back down. See, watch. It's all the way up. And it falls like, I don't know, inch and a half. But it doesn't fall on my head. They feel awfully stiff. When you pull the hood down, they're kind of stiff. Maybe they'll give in as they get, miles on them, so to speak. But whatever. I heard all the reproduction ones are shit. I don't know. I mean, these are okay. But anyway, that's where we are. Like I said, anything I can list that's positive is to the good. So appreciate you watching. I haven't really touched anything today other than, be careful when you buy cars from friends. Make sure you get the parts up front. How about that? Maybe that's what I should say. Make sure to give you the parts before you take the car home. I'm sure he'll make good on it, but how many months is it going to take, So anyway, if nothing else, driving this, I can compare it to the Firebird because the Firebird's very modified. And I can say, well, the Firebird does drive better than a stock F-body or the Firebird does not. And so far, it drives way better. But let's give this thing a fair shake when all is fixed, okay? So thanks again for watching. Hope your projects are going well, and talk to you later.